Hi there. Have you ever wanted to create something cool with JavaScript? Or do you need to be inspired and motivated with every click? Let's build a random code generator using an API. Dive into the world of dynamic content generation as we show you how to fetch codes from an API and display them into your web application. Evaluate your coding skills and add a touch of motivation to your projects with this must watch video. Let's have a quick demo right here. Here on the screen we can able to see the code container with the heading of quote of the day, and below we can able to see the quote and category with author name. It was generated and displayed from an API, and below we have a new code button. This will help you to generate new code on every click. Apart from this, we have a button group next to this. We can see like and then list of likes here. Right now the list of likes disabled. Once we click like, it will automatically enabled here, and here we can able to unlike. Again we can see the list is disabled. Once we like, the list is enabled. We can click and check what are the favorite code lists we have liked, and we can go back and we can generate new code, and we can like this, and again we can generate and we can like this too. If we go to the list, we can able to see the favorite code list here. It will grow as much as we like, and then below we have a clear icon. Before that I will jump to the previous one. Here this code is liked. If I go here, if I clear, the favorite list is cleared. If I go back, now we can able to see the like will be automatically unliked, and this will be handled with the help of local storage. So once we refresh or we can close and open, this like list will be stayed in the browser until we clear. And then we have a copy icon. This will copy this code to the clipboard. We can paste, and then next to this we have a Twitter icon. Once we click this, we'll tweet this code to the Twitter on every click. That's all for the demo. Before beginning this video, I would like to introduce myself as Sharat Chandar K. If you find this tutorial useful, please like and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel to encourage me. This will help me to post videos every week. Let's level up our tech game together. Here on my desktop, I have already created a project folder name called Random Code Generator. Let me open this into a Visual Studio Code. So for that, I will drag this directory into Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code will automatically loads all the files inside it. Inside the directory, I have already created the index.html, style.css, and script.js. And then I have created that HTML boilerplate with the help of exclamation mark, and then I have added the title as random code generator by Sharachandar K. And then I have linked two files here with help of link with style.css and script with script.js. Apart from that, I have linked the CDN of font awesome icon here. And then inside the body, I am going to add the container to generate the code. So for that, we are going to create the div with the help of embed abbreviation with dot container. If we hit enter, it will automatically create the div tag with the class attribute with the value of container. Inside that, I am going to add the h2 tag with the value of quote of the day. And then next to this, I am going to add one more div with class value of quote. If I hit enter, it will create a div with quote. And then below to this, I am going to add one more div with class of buttons. Inside that, I am going to create one more div of icons with the class value, and then button of id generate with the value of new quote. Let us see our HTML file in action. So for that, in Visual Studio Code, we have a extension called Go Live. In the status bar, once we click this, it will automatically start our server and it will run to our default browser. Here we can able to see the heading of quote of the day and then button of new quote. And then inside the icon group, I am going to add the icons of font awesome of I with class of FA regular, FA auto, and then next icon of class FA solid, FA list, and then next icon of class FA regular FA copy, and then next icon of class FA brands FA Twitter. If I save, if I go to the browser, now without refresh, it will be automatically displayed our change. That is how the live server will work. Apart from this, we are going to display the category, right? So for that, I'm going to create one more div of ribbon. Inside that, I'm going to add the span tag with the ID of category and then value of category and then subclass of we are going to set this ribbon on top of the left side. So I will add the ribbon top left. If I save, if I go to the browser, here we can able to see the category too. So that's all for the HTML. We need to style this. So for that, I will jump to the style.css here. I have already added the import URL of font family Poppins and then I have added the asterisk that means an wildcard. This will reset the margin to 0, adding to 0 and then font family to Poppins. Box sizing should be border box. Apart from this, we are going to add the styles to the body. So how we can add this? With the help of element selector name called body. And then I will add the background color to this with blue color. And then I will add the height of 100 VH. And then I need to set this container into the center of the screen with the help of display flux. And then align items to be center, justify content to be center. If I save, if I go to the browser, now we can able to see the background color as well as the container to be center. Now we need to add the styles to that container, right? So again, I will jump to the style.css. Previously, we have added the styles to the body. Now I need to add the styles to the div. If I add the element selector of div, this will be applicable to all the divs. So instead of that, we need to add the styles to this container. How we can do this? So in the style.css, we have a option to add the styles to the class with the class selector of dot and then value of class name called container. I will set the position to relative and then I will set max width to 600 px and then width of 90 percentage and then min height to 250 px, background to be white and I need to add the box shadow with 0, 0 and 15 px with RGBA color of red to 0, green to 0, blue to 0 and alpha should be 0 0.1 and then padding inner spacing to be 15 px. I will set the text align to center. Again, I need to set the content to the center with the help of display flags. Align items to be center and then justify content to be center. If I save, if I go to the browser, now we can able to see the code container center of the screen. So I have split the screen. Now we need to add the styles to the heading. So again with the help of dot container with h2 because this h2 present inside the container, right? So I will add the style to this. I will set the font size to 35 px and then font weight to 600 and then text align to be center. If I save, now we can able to see the font size here and then now I will add the styles to the buttons. So again with the help of dot class selector of buttons with the class value I will set the display to flags and then align items to be center, justify content to be space between, padding to be 1 rem and then border top of 1 px solid same blue color. If I save, now we can able to see the button on top of the border here. And then next thing I will add the styles to this button. So again dot buttons with element selector of button. I will set the border radius to 20 px, padding inner space to be 10 px. I will remove the border with the help of border none, outline to none. I will add the background of same blue color, text color of color to be white and then width of 150 px, then font size to be 16 px and then cursor to be pointer. If I save, now we can able to see the quote button here. So here once we over, we need to change the button color. So I will add same dot buttons, button of hover, and I will add the background to this with dark blue color comparing to this color. So I will add 3498 dB. If I save, if I go on over, now we can able to see the color change here. And then next to this, I'm going to add the class to this icons. So in the style.css.icons, same again, I need to set this into the center of the list with the help of display flags, and I will add the gap of 25 px to each icon. Next thing, I will add the icons to eye of subchild to font size 25 px and then cursor to pointer. If I save, if I go here, now we can able to see the icon font size and then cursor pointer to this. And then next thing I need to add the ribbon styles to this category. With the help of ribbon of class selector dot with ribbon, I will set the width of 150 px and then height of same 150 px, overflow to be hidden and then position to absolute. If I save, now we can able to see the category is center of the screen, and I need to add the before and after to this ribbon with the help of dot ribbon colon after and then comma. As I said, I'm going to add the before and after with before. So I will set the position to absolute and then z index to -1. I will set the content to empty and then display to block and then border to 5 px solid of blue color. So and then I will set the span tag styles with the ribbon of span. Will set the position again with absolute and then I will add the width of 225 px and I will set the padding inner spacing 15 for right and left and top and bottom to be 0 and then background color to be same blue color. We'll set the box shadow to this with 0, 5 px and 10 px. Again RGBA color red to 0, green to 0, blue to 0 and all four should be 0.2. And then color of white, I will set the text align to be center and I will set the text transform to be uppercase, text shadow to 0, 1 px and 1 px. I will set the RGBA color with 0, 0, 0 and 0.2 and then I will change these things to 0.1 and I will add the font size with the help of font 700 to bold and then 18 px by 1. I will set the separate font family to this Lato, else sans serif. If I save, now we can able to see the category it was placed here. So we need to place this here to the top left right. So again with the subclass value of ribbon top left, I will set the top to -10 px and then left to -10 px. If I save, now we can able to see here and then same thing we need to add the before and after to this two with top left of after comma dot ribbon top left of before. I will add the border top color to transparent and then border left color to transparent again then dot border top left before. I will set the top to 0 and then right to 0 then same thing for after bottom to be 0 left to be 0. If I save, it will be placed here. So we need to change the directions. So for that dot ribbon top left of pen tag of right to -25 px and then top to 30 px and then transform rotate of -45 degree. If I save, this will rotate and it will fit as here in the category of the container. How cool is this, right? This is the before and after of color. If I insert to the browser, we can check this. This is what the category and this is what the before. and this is what the after color. So here we have already added the categories. Once we fetch this will automatically change this from an API. Now we need to fetch the code, right? And we need to append this into the code div. With the help of script.js, we are going to achieve this. So in the script.js, we need to declare the declaration. With the help of const, I will add the code with the help of document. Document represent your web page. If you want to access any element in an HTML page, you always start with accessing the document object. So document dot query selector of code with the help of dot selector of class. This is how the query selector will pick that particular code. I will do the console.log of code. If I save, if I go to the browser console.log, here we can able to see the div of code. That is how the DOM tree will work. I will add the generate here. So generate equal to, as I said, document dot. Here we don't have any class. So we need to add the declaration with the help of ID. So we have get element by ID with value of generate. So the same thing I will do for the category also. Category equal to document dot get element by ID, and then for this icons we need to click and check that, right? So I will add the IDs to this. For that first one, ID equal to like code, and then this one as ID of like list. I have added these two IDs. I need to declare it again. So again I will jump to the script.js like code equal to document dot element by ID, and then same thing for like list 2. So here these are the declarations. The next thing I will add the function here. So function is a block of code designed to perform a particular task. So with the help of function keyword, with the function name of generate codes. So inside that we are going to add the fetch. Before that, as I said, this is getting from the API. So how we can get this? So for this we have a Ninja's API to get that code. So here in the Ninja's API we have power of 80 data API for your next big idea. So here we can click this code API, and then we'll send the request. So here we can get that code as well as the author as well as the category. If you want to learn more about fetching APIs and attaching to the JavaScript, so in my previous project I have created a OTP generator with email verification. If you are interested, you can check that project too. So here once we send request, it will get the code and then author every time with the differently. So for this we need to get an free API key. We need to sign up for this. So I have already signed up and I have get the API key for this. So here I will get this link. In the generated code, I will add the fetch of this API, and then we need to post the headers for this. With the help of headers, as I said, we need to post the API key, X API key. So this is a free to use. You can also sign up, and I will paste the API here. So apart from this, they are providing too many APIs. You can explore this Ninja API and find the APIs whichever you want. I will add the then of response equal to, will post this response as a JSON, and then next then contains data. I will add the console.log of data here. If I save, if I go to the project in the console.log, nothing, because we have created this function, we have not yet initialized it. So we need to initialize it. If I save, now we can able to get that JSON here. So for this JSON, we have missed that function bracket. If I save, now we'll get that code list here. This is what the code and then author and then category. How simple is this, right? With the help of data, we can display the code every time for this click or refresh. If I refresh, again it will get a new code. So I need to attach this code into the code container, right? How we can do this? So inside this function, I will create one more let of div equal to document dot create element of div, and then we are going to append this data inside this code, right? So I will use this code dot inner HTML, will add this loading text here with loading new quotes, and then inside this once we get this response, we'll add the quote of data here. Data of array of 0, because inside the array we have get this. So array of 0 dot quote. If I save, now we can able to see the loading message and then quote here. So we need to add the styles to this. In the style.css, I will add the quote of div. With the help of this div, we are going to add the quote, right? So with the padding of 1 rem, 2.5 rem, and then font size to be 20 px. So I have added the styles to the div of quote. We need to set this into a row of list, right? So for this I need to add one more div here. So because we have set this container items into the display flux, so I will add the div. After this, if I save, now we can able to see the quote list and then quote into the center of the list of row. So now it is generated on every refresh. It will get and it will paste it here. So again, I will jump to the script.js here. I need to attach this into the div because we have added the styles to the div. So with the help of div dot inner HTML, we'll set empty for all the time, and then div dot inner HTML equal to data dot code, and then we'll append this div inside the code. If I save, now we can able to see the container here, as well as this loading new code is still loading, because this new code, before setting this div, we need to clear this. So I will add the code.innerHTML equal to null. If I save, it will automatically refresh. We'll get the code every time. If I refresh, now we'll get that loading, and then the code is here. And I need to replace the category to right. So for this, we have already written the ID of declaration, and then category dot inner HTML equal to data of array of 0 dot category. If I save, if I refresh, now we can able to see the equality is the category. If I go and cross check this, if I refresh again, now we'll get the category of love. Before and after to this code, we need to mention the quotation mark. So for that, div dot inner HTML plus equal to, I will add the icons to this. I of class with font awesome solid fa quote of left. I will close the icon and I will add the space to this with the help of and nbsp. I will copy the same and I will paste after the quote. Instead of left, I will set these things to right. I will remove the space from here. Instead of equal to, I will set these things to plus equal. If I save, if I refresh, now we can able to see the quote before and after. So here this space I need to add before this right. If I save, if I refresh, now we'll get that quote before and after of quotation mark. We need to add the styles to this. So again, I will jump to the style.css dot quote and then class value of fa quote left, comma, same dot quote dot fa quote right. I will add the font size to 10 px and then position to relative. I will set the top of -8 px. If I save, now we can able to see the quote placed on top of the quotes. And now I need to place the author name here, right? So again, I will jump to the script.js. Next to this quotation, I will add the div again with inner HTML plus equal to, I will add the div of class value of author. Inside that, I will add the span tag to mention the author with the help of string concatenation of data of array 0 of author. And then I will close the div here. If I save, now we can able to see the author name here, center of the code. So we need to style this. So again, I need to jump to the style.css. Here the same thing of code dot author of span tag. So I will add the font family to this with monospace. We'll remove the space of this two underscore here with the help of font family, and then we'll set the position to relative. I will set the top to -6 px, left to -5 px. If I save, now we can able to see the underscore into the single line. and I will set the styles to the author also. So with the help of quote.author, I will set the padding to 0, margin top to 1 rem, and then text align to right, and then font style to italic, and then font size to 16px. If I save, now we can able to see the author name here with that monospace font. If I refresh, we'll get the author name as well as the quote as well as the category. Once we click this, we need to regenerate again, right? So here I need to add the window dot add event listener of load, and then function of I will set this generate code inside this, and then with the help of this generate dot, so we can use this generate dot on click from here, or else so I will copy this function name and I will jump to the index.html. Here I will set on click of generate code with initialize the function. If I save, so now this window dot add event listener, it will get the generated code every time while refreshing the page. Else if we click this, it will generate the code. So once we click this, we need to add the loader icon to this. So here I will add the icons of font awesome for loader spin with I class of FA solid, FA sync, and then FA spin. I will close the I tag. If I save, now we can able to see the spin icon here. We need to see every time, right? So I will add the error to this code. If I save, now this is error. You can able to see the loader to this with the help of font awesome. So here if I remove this FA spin, if I save, this will not going to spin. So if I add that again, if I save, now we can able to see the spin functionality to this. I will revert the error from this. If I save, it will refresh and we'll get the code from here. And then the button also, while clicking, this should be changed to generate, right? So here with the help of generate dot inner HTML equal to, we'll add the text of generating. Once it's done, I will copy here. Inside this, I will set that to new code again. If I save, now you can able to see the generating text as here on the button. Once it's load, we can get the new button again. Now we have done that code generation and fetching and displaying from the API. The next thing we need to do the functionality of like and then list and then copy and then titter. So for that, first we'll do that like and unlike while clicking this. So for that, I will create one more function with the help of function keyword with the function name as like quote, and then another function as copy quote. Inside the like quote, we are going to do that. So how we can do this? While clicking this, we need to change this as red, right? So like quote, we have already added the declaration for that. Like quote dot set attribute of class. The font awesome, we have a two different odds. One is for auto of regular and then second one is auto of solid. So we are going to add this. I will add the font awesome of FEM solid FA auto. If I save, if I go and click this, it will not fire because I need to call this function here on click again of function like code. If I save, if I click, it will change the color. I will add the color to this with the like code dot style dot color equal to red. If I save, if I go and click this, we'll get that red color. If again clicking this should be remove, right? So how we can do this? So for that, we'll do the simple if condition to like code dot style dot color double equal to red. We'll set the like code dot remove attribute of that entire class because we need to add that a regular out to this, right? So I will add that like code dot set attribute of class again. As I said, that is a regular font of art. So I will copy this and I will paste it here instead of solid. I will change these things to regular. I will set the like code of style color. I will copy the same thing. I will change these things to black. I will set this inside the else of this one. So I will save this. If I go here, if I click on like, now it will turn to red. If I click on this, it is turned to black again. This is how the functionality will look like. Whenever we click this, it should be stored to here. Once we click this, we'll get that favorite list code, right? So for that, we need to add the HTML element. So I will jump to the index.html. Next to this container, I will add one more container of favorite list. I will add the top container as quote area, and then inside that I'm going to add the same header of h2. I will add the value of favorite quote list. If I save, now we can able to see the favorite quote list here. So this is container, so I will use the same style to the both. Then next to this we need to add the arrow mark to going back to this code. So I will use the I tag of class font awesome solid fa arrow left long, and then I will add the ul tag of with the help of id favorite data, and I will close the ul tag, and then end of this I will add one more I tag to clear this with the help of font awesome solid fa broom. If I save, now we can able to see the favorite code list. So here I have added the space. If I save, now we can able to see the arrow mark of left and then broom to this. I need to add the styles to this. Again I will jump to the style.css. So the first thing I will add the styles to this font awesome arrow left with the help of container favorite list. I will add the position to absolute, and then I will set the top to 10 px and then left to 10 px, cursor to pointer, font size to be 22 px. If I save, now we can able to see the cursor arrow on top of the favorite list, and I need to add the styles to the broom too. So say the same thing, I will copy this, I will paste it below. Instead of arrow left, I will set to broom with cursor pointer, font size to 22 px, position to absolute, and then bottom to 15 px. If I save, now it will be set to the bottom of the favorite list. So before that, only the code container will be visible. So for that, I will go to the script.js. Will add the declaration to this. The script.js, again in the same const, I will add the declaration to the class of quote area equal to document dot query selector of class value of quote area, and then next thing as favorite list equal to document dot query selector of class value of dot favorite list, and then we need to display the records inside the favorite list. So favorite list of id, this should be document dot get element by id of favorite data, and then for the onload, this favorite list should be id, right? So I will add the favorite list dot style dot display equal to none for onload. If I save in the browser, still it is showing not a favorite data, this is a favorite list. If I change to favorite list, if I save, now we can able to see the only the code container, not the favorite list. Once we click this should be shown, right? So for that, already we have created the like list here. So we need to add the add event listener to this like list dot add event listener of click of function. Will set the favorite list dot style dot display equal to block. If I save, if I go here, if I click this, now we can able to see this, but here still it is displaying. We need to hide that, right? So how we can do that? Already we have declaration of quote area dot style dot display to none. If I save, if I go here, if I click, now we can able to see this. Once we click this, we need to go back. So for that, we'll create one more function of switch codes. So I will copy this same. Here I will change these things to block. Here I will change these things to none. And I will call this function to this arrow mark of on click of function. If I save, if I go to the browser, if I click, now we'll get the favorite code list. If I click back, it will be gone to this. If you want a animation to this, in my previous project, I have created a container switching animation for this. So make use of that. So now we need to do the like functionality with local storage. So once we click this entire item to be stored in the local storage. And here we can list that. Again, I will go to the script.js. We need to add the local storage of favorite list of global variable of let favorite list array equal to local storage dot get item of favorite list items, and then we need to check in all the browser the first time they should be undefined. Whenever they should be undefined, we need to set to empty. So how we can do that? With the help of conditional operator. I will use the question mark to this. With the help of JSON parse, we are going to get the local storage of get item to be paused. Whenever we'll check this favorite list item not of undefined, we'll get this with JSON parse, else this should be empty array. So I will add the console.log here for this favorite list array. If I save, if I go to the browser, if I see the console.log, we'll get the empty array here. So instead of this, if I remove this conditional operator here, if I save, if I go here, you can able to see the null here. So for all the time, if we get the null while looping through the array, we'll get the error. So only we'll set this conditional operator to set this array of empty. So we need to add the likes code inside this. So whenever we are clicking the like, we need to store this. So here inside the like code, I will add the favorite list array dot push. This will help to push the value to the array with the code of inner HTML. This will get this entire inner HTML of code data to be pushed to that array, and then I will set this local storage dot set item of favorite list items of favorite list array. If I save, if I go here, if I hit on like, if I go to the application, here we can able to see the local storage with the help of favorite list item. Here we can able to see the list item of code entire inner HTML. So once we like this, it should be stored here. Once we unlike this value should be removed from the list. So how we can do that? So before that, we need to list it here. So once we click this should be enabled. The list of data is present, then only this list item should be enabled. So for that, we need to check the array of length and we can enable and disable this. So for that, I will jump to this window add event listener. Here I will check if this favorite list array dot length double equal to 0, and then already we have added that declaration of liked list dot style dot opacity to 0.6. If I save, if I go here, we are getting the error. So for this, I will go to the application. Here I will clear this. If I refresh, now we can able to see the list liked is disabled, but still we can able to click this. So we need to disable that too. So here, if it is 0, I will add the like list dot style dot pointer events to none. If I save, if I go to the browser, here we can't able to see the pointer event. Click here. Whenever the list is present, then only we need to enable this, right? So whenever we click this, that time we need to enable this. Now we can able to see the data is automatically added to the local storage. So I will delete and I will unlike. If I like it again, now we'll get the data here. So if it is else, we need to enable that. So I will copy this same two line here and I will paste it inside the else and I will change to 1 and I will set these things to auto. If I save, why this error? Because we have paused this one unexpected token. So this is a invalid JSON. While pushing this, we need to push this with the help of JSON stingify. So JSON.stingify, I need to push this. If I save, first I will clear this because this is without stingifies. Now we can able to see the raw HTML here. So if I delete, if I refresh, if I like, if I go and click this, now we can able to see the stingify of each HTML element. So again, if I refresh, now will not get the error. It will be listed here. If I go here, the list is not present, right? So we need to add the list records here. While clicking this like the list here, inside that we need to append the LIs to that UL with the help of let li document dot create element of li. I will get that favorite list here of for each of item Inside that, I will add the console.log of item. If I save, if I go to the browser, if I go to the list, now we'll get the favorite list array dot for each is not an function. Now we have get this because this is not pushed as an array. Now we can able to see this only one item is present. So if I click, if I save, the key to success also not present. So once we like this, we need to push. Here instead of pushing to this array, we can push this object entirely as an array. So I will remove this code.inner.html and I will add the local storage of JSON.stingify. If I go here, if I clear this local storage, if I like, if I refresh, if I like, we'll get this list of likes multiple times. If I go here, if I F5, now we can get this items 2 of the list. So we need to append and we need to list it here. Inside this, I will add the let declaration of li and I will append this li dot inner html equal to item and I will add this li directly into this ul favorite data. I have already added the declaration dot append of li. If I save, go to the browser, if I go to the list, I will remove the debugger. If I F5, now we can able to see the list of codes here. So we need to add the styles to this. I will jump to the style.css. I will add the styles to this favorite list of UL. Here if it is UL, we can able to see the bootlet dots here. We need to remove that with the help of list style type to be none. And then I will add the padding of inner spacing to be 2 rem for top and bottom and then 1 rem for right and left. If I save, now we can see that dot and then list is with the padding of space. And then I will add the styles to the favorite list ul of li. Will set the text align to be left and then padding of inner spacing 10 px. Will add the border bottom to this of 1 px solid of same blue color. If I save, now we can able to see the styles and again I need to set this author into the right hand side and then this underscores to be center of the author name, right? So previously we have used the same style here, so we can reuse this. Here in the author, I will add the comma dot favorite list of ul and then li and I can check this as a value of author with author. If I save, now we can able to see the author is sent to this right hand side and again I need to add the style to this. Here we have the same span tag. I will copy this, I will add the comma and then span here. If I save, how simple is this, right? We have reused the css with the help of class values. Whenever I go back and I will return to this list, it was appending multiple times. We need to clear that. Here in the script.js, the favorite list, whenever we click this, we'll set the inner html to be empty. If I save, if I go here, if I click to the liked list, now only we can able to see the two records. If I go back, if I click, it is two records. If I click like, if I come back, now we have three records. If I refresh, if I go to the list, we have three because it was stored in the local storage. If I go here, if I remove this, I will delete this. If I refresh, now the list is disabled. Once we like this, now it is not enabled. Once we like this, it could be enabled, right? So we need to do the functionality to that. The same thing here. We'll copy this. I will make this inside the like code. If I save, if I go here, now it is already have that one record. So I will delete this. If I refresh, now this is disabled. Once I like, now we can able to see the list is present. If I go back, if I unlike, this should be disabled again, right? Because we need to remove this from the list. So I will go here in the unlike part, we'll get that favorite list array equal to favorite list array will filter that value with the help of filter of function of e will return e not equal to code dot inner html. If this is present, it will be removed from this list and then again we'll set this local storage set item we need to remove this favorite list from the local storage also, right? So if I save, if I go to here, I will remove this favorite list from here. If I refresh, we'll get the code. Now this is disabled. If I like, now this is enabled. If I go here, the list is present. If I come back, if I unlike, now it is disabled again. And then favorite list item on the local storage also removed. If I like, it will be present. If I unlike, this should be removed. So if I like, if I go here, now we can able to see this. If I click clear, it should be clear, right? So for that, we need to create one more function, clear favorite list. Inside that, we'll remove the favorite data dot inner HTML equal to empty. We'll set the favorite list array equal to empty. We'll set the local storage. I will copy this local storage from here. If I save, if I go here, now it is generating. Here it is already present. So I will remove this. I will like this code. Now it is enabled. If I go here, if I clear, this is not happening because we have created this function. We have not yet initialized it. So I will jump to the index.html here in on click of this function. If I save, if I go to the browser, already the list is present. This is the previous one of success. If I like this, if I go to the list, if I clear, it was cleared. If I go back, still this is liked. So if I go, the list is empty. Then the user will be confused, right? This should be removed. So here in the clear, next to this, we'll add this functionality. So we have already added this with this like code. So I will copy this 3 line. I will paste it here. If I save, if this is empty, if I like, if I go here, this is present. If I clear, this is empty, and as well as this ought also to be unliked. I will go here and I will clear. I will come back. This should be empty. See, now this is empty, still this is enabled, right? So we need to disable that too. So for that, I will copy the same if condition here and I will add this into the switch also. If I go here, if I like, I will move to the favorite list. If I clear, if I go to this back, now this is disabled, and then like also. Then pending thing is copy and then Twitter. For the copy, this is very simple. So for this, we have already added the function for this navigator dot clipboard dot write text of code dot inner HTML, and I will copy this function. I will go to the index.html here on click of copy code. If I save, if I hit the copy button, if I go and paste it here, now this is copied with the HTML. Instead of HTML, I will set only for inner text. So only it was copied the HTML value. If I copy, if I paste it here, now we can able to see the greatest accomplishment is not never failing. The same thing we can see here. If I refresh, we'll get the new code. I can copy here and I can able to paste it here. So the next thing we need to do that with for this. So for this, I will create one more function of Twitter code. Let with URL equal to, we'll add the Twitter URL to this. So this Twitter URL is twitter.com intent tweet URL equal to code.inhtml, and then we'll open this into a new window dot open this tweet URL and then value of blank. So this should be open into a new browser. If I copy this function name, I will create the initialization of on click of Twitter. If I save, if I go here, if I click, it will be created into the new window and we can able to see the X is loading. So I need to log in. Once we log in, we'll get that code. So what I will do, I will go here, I will copy this. I will paste it in my browser where I logged in. So here it will open the post pop-up with that with details. So here this is what that post 33 years it was opened into the post. So from here I can directly post it from the bit. We can able to post on every click of new code generator. So now we can reload and we'll get that loading message. We'll get the code of every click and we'll get that new code here. This is the longest code we have ever get, and this we can able to like, and if I go to the list we can able to see the favorite list too. We can clear. If I go back, I can regenerate new code, it will be responsive based on the code data. And we can go to this list, we can clear and we can go back and we can generate new code and we can see the list, we can copy and we can paste. While new generating, the icon is still it is red. We need to change that, right? So for the same thing, the script.js, I will copy this. In the generate function, I will add this. If I save, if I go here, if I generate new code, whenever we click this, it is changing. If I hit a new code, it is changing. If I go to the list, it will be listed. We can clear and we can go back. We can and we can list also. Finally, we have completed this random code generator with API using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. I hope this video will be helpful for you. Please like and share this video and also subscribe to my channel Sharat Chandar K to watch more videos like this one on every week. If you are interested in JavaScript projects like this with API, I have created and added a playlist link in the description. Please do check it out. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, keep coding and keep learning. See you in the next video. Happy coding. Bye for now. Have a nice day.